What's the crusade you're going on? A mission to live your life's purpose and passion. What if this year is the last year of your life? What's your God-sized dream? What do you stand for? Live your best life this year. Now, that's the time. I'm going on a crusade to change people's mindsets every single day. So are you on board? Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And I need to start with a huge thank you to you. The airwaves were lit up this week after last week's episode, the Spit and Fire episode of 5 Ways to Create an Iconic New Year. Y'all were on fire. And I was on fire because you were on fire. So thank you for being on fire, because guess what? The fire is not out. It's only the second week of January, and we just getting started. So huge thank you, gratitude, shout out to each and every one of you who A, listened to it, B, shared it with your family, your friends, your colleagues, coworkers. And man, oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen feedback like that after an episode. So yes, I am fired up for 2022, and I hope that each and every episode that gets delivered to you and your ears is just like that as far as impact is concerned. As a matter of fact, I started to talk last week about some of the things I'm most excited for in 2022. And instead of me telling you today about my initiatives and all that I'm excited for, I want to share with you my teammates. Now, I've got a team of people at Todd Durkin Enterprises who helps me fulfill my mission, my vision, my crusade that I shared about last week. So when I talk about meet my team for 2022 and what I'm most excited for, it is said that the bigger your dream, the more important your team. Now, maybe you're a solopreneur. Maybe you work for an organization, but everyone within your company, within your life could be a teammate, including if you're a solopreneur, it could be your accountant, your attorney, your financial advisor. These are all people who are people who are on your team as well. But specifically today with Todd Durkin Enterprises, what I want to share is some of the initiatives, and I'm going to bring on several of my teammates who are going to help us execute some of the things that we're after to help create a great year, an iconic year. And when I share this, you're going to hear from about 9 different people quickly. It's going to be rapid fire, just a few minutes apiece, so that we get rocking and rolling with each of these initiatives. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the director of Todd Durkin Enterprises, the one and only Miss Julie Wilcox. Let's go out there right now and listen to what Julie and I have to say about what we're going to do to create a great 2022. Hey, before we get to Julie Wilcox, I want you to know that you're going to be hearing from 7 different teammates today. These are people who I am rubbing elbows with most days of the week to help us create great content. Things like this podcast right here. Matter of fact, besides Julie, you're going to hear from Amelia Ann Johannes, who's been with me for a long time, and she helps me execute a lot of stuff. You're going to hear from Frank and Larry on the Mastermind side. Kelli Watson, who's helping me with a new initiative that you're going to hear all about in today's episode. Brandon Borns. I'm going to see if I can corral Brandon Borns, the man who creates all this content, if he'll go behind his own microphone and talk about what he's excited for with Team TDE in 2022. And of course, Jess Jacobson, who she helps me with all digital and social media campaigns as well. These are 7 people, rapid fire today, that we're going to try if we can corral them all up and create an epic episode so that you could think about your team and what you're going to do. And when it comes to 2022, it will be an iconic year. Without further ado, let's go to Julie Wilcox right now. All right, since this is Meet My Team episode here, we starting right off at the top. We're starting with Julie Wilcox, the director of Todd Durkin Enterprises. This woman makes it happen on all levels. When I say makes it happen, it doesn't matter if it's high-level strategic initiatives we're under. I don't care if it, a few weeks ago, she was actually in the back room packing over 400 God-sized dreams planners. Like, it doesn't matter. No job is too big. No job is too small. She makes it happen and has done so for, heck, over 17 years. Julie, welcome to the show again.
Aw, thanks, TDE. That's sweet.
Tell us your role here at TDE and give a quick overview of your whole entire existence here with FQ10 and TDE.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. So, yeah, I started as a client, I'd say back in 2005.
Early 2000s.
Yes. Was training here. We struck up a conversation, and the next thing you knew, in 2000 and shortly after that, I was hired. Actually, 2003, I was a client. 2005 hired. Had to think about that. But what a fun, I know, right? Fun journey. I was GM at Fitness Quest 10 for 14 years. We opened up the lower facility together, took over the 7-Eleven. So it's been a lot of just fun, great experiences. And now I'm just super blessed. In 2018, we kind of shifted. Jeff Bristol took over as GM and doing a phenomenal job, and is now a great big part of that team. And now I get to spend my time playing in the TDE world, which is a whole new world, and trying to keep up with you.
Well, folks, just to see we're all about progress, as Fitness Quest 10 grew and grew and grew and grew. And as the team grew and my vision grew and my mission grew, as TDE grew, I was speaking more, not only doing the conferences and events within the fitness world. It was around that time too, the last 5 years, I started doing a lot more keynoting and speaking to organizations outside of that. And I was like, man, we need to grow our team within TDE, because I was pretty much a one-man wrecking crew at that point. So I made some reorganizational shifts, and Julie became part of TDE. And we just met actually last week, our entire team. That's why I wanted to introduce you to the team today about some of our 2022 initiatives. And I wanted you to know who's behind this, because even the podcast, we have about 5 people who make this show happen. And Julie's one of the key people to make sure that everything is on point, and she has final say in all aspects. So, if you don't like the quality of it, Julie's the person to talk to. But as you know, they always come out really good. But Julie, when we looked at, I shared my strategic plan and what I'm really excited about for 2022 on Team TDE. Also, I had you all fill out your strategic plans and fill out your planners for the year. What most fires you up about 2022, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I'll start with professionally for sure. I am so excited, as you are, about live events. Whether they're our own live events, I love having people in the room. I love having people here in the TDE headquarters. And it's like, I love having you go out and do live events.
I'm out of your hair.
well, but seriously, I think the impact that you make, we've been on virtual for a couple of years, and you do a phenomenal job, but the feedback that I get in talking to people, when you go live, back in December when you went live and you were in Houston, we've already gotten a couple speaking engagements since then because of that live event. There's just a whole nother level when people can see you live, see you on stage, and really feel you. Because I always feel that when you're live with someone in a room, they feel like you are speaking directly to them. And that is super powerful. So that fires me up. It gives me goosebumps, because I think your message, I believe in it so much. And I think that the world needs it so much right now, that what you have to say, people need to hear. And that's super exciting. So live events for sure.
I actually think we do our best work with live events. Everything we do, for the Mastermind, for speaking here I think our best work as a team, I'm saying, is at a live event. I think it's special. I think I've asked y'all the question before: if you could only do one thing, what would it be? And I personally don't love that question, because I have like 10 things I do, but the one thing that I absolutely love to do, and if there was only one thing, I think it would be to be a speaker that motivates and inspires people. I love working with people in that capacity, and I've really missed it. I think my soul has missed it the most of the last 2 years of not being able to be live with people. I have in some ways felt a little just, I can't be the best me possible, because I haven't been able to do that. And speaking into a computer, even if there's 1,000 people on there, it's just not the same. So I'm as excited on the speaking side as you, and I'm really excited for 2022, getting back to doing more live events here as well. Anything else, Fire Young?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's something big coming up, and we've spent some time up at the Vision in the Vineyard with Vito and Anna, with our team. And we're working on a really incredible program that you're going to hear much more about. Kelli is one of my gurus in this, and we're working hard, really trying to kind of bring it to life. But it was Todd's vision, and we are super excited. And it's something that I think will allow you to share your dream and where you're at and help you touch that many more people, because that's what we're all about. You know, it's how can we make people be the best versions of themselves? And there's a lot of people out there that are hurting and that need this. So super excited about that program.
Well, when you think about folks, as you listen in, I've been asking the last few weeks on the episodes, like, how do you live your best life? And what are you going to do to create an iconic year in 2022? Truth be told, for me, it actually started back late summer, early fall, about what am I going to create in the next year? It wasn't necessarily 2022, but what can I create that's going to give me the juice to tap into my gifts that I can give back? And when we got away with the team for a few days, I think it's always so important to get away with your team and have a retreat or a strategic planning session. And we did that, and I stewed about it. We will have a program kicking off here called the God-Sized Dreams Coaching Program.
Yeah.
And that started with the God-Sized Dreams Planner. And many of you got the God-Sized Dreams Planner. And that was the first step in that. When I started in the fall creating that, it was, how do we go deeper? Because people were saying, well, this is great, but how do I really sustain that to live that? And I've got something deeper inside of me. And the team, and when I say the team, guys, the people you're going to hear from today, besides Julie, all of them were involved in this conversation about going deep with the question of the crusade is, how do we change people's lives? Like at every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. How do we get to the next level, help people get to the next level? And that's what I'm probably most fired up about here on this crusade, is the Gsd Coaching Program coming up here, literally as this airs in just a matter of weeks. I'm really fired up about that. And Julie, you've been a huge impetus to working with myself, Kelli, Vito, all the coaches involved with it, our team involved with it, because we are about the mission now to change as many lives as possible. This podcast is a vehicle for that. Like that's what we do, is to try to help through these airwaves in a 30 to 60 minute show, is to try to help you do that. So I'm as equally fired up as you with the Gsd Coaching Program coming up also.
Yeah, it's going to be epic. And I have to say the podcast, of course, it's such a huge thing. And I would, love to see how we can even make it better this year. And we talked a little bit about that on our strategy meetings. So there's big things to come, you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Matter of fact, at the end of today, when everyone gets a chance to speak, when I'm done, I'm going to wrap it up. And one of the things I'm going to share is something I'm considering. I brought up to the team. I don't have an answer yet. In total transparency, I don't have an answer yet if I'm going to do this or not, but I would love to hear from you. And I'll share that at the end of today. When you're working on strategy, as you know, in your life, and you don't always know the answer, but when you start asking your teammates and your colleagues and your cohorts and your mentors about it, the podcast is something that is very, very personal to me. I share my life with you all on it, and I do that not to impress you, but truly to impress upon you of how I'm like you. How do we get to the next level? How do I get to the next level to help more people? And some of the decisions that we are literally making as I speak and as you listen are to the effect of, how do we impact more people? And I'm going to ask you some questions at the end of today's show that I would love to hear back from you. Julie, what do you love best about your job, and what do you love least about your job overall? Just big picture,
right?
Not just on these initiatives, but you've been here for,
Gosh,
17
almost
years.
17 years. Yeah. I love most about my job, I think, just seeing the results of the efforts that we put in. You know, we all work so hard to try to produce all of this and to make things happen, all the programs, the live events. But I love that. I love the end results. I love all of the people that reach out to us.
Yeah.
You know, I love talking to people on the phone. I love the messages I get on the emails.
So true.
I mean, it's just, that to me moves my soul when we are actually changing a life or making something happen.
Please reach out, people. Please, whether it's a DM or whether you share, take a picture of this right now, of the actual episode, and share it on your social media and tag myself and Mama Jules on that, because we look and read every single email, DM that comes through. So thank you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I think that's the best. And then as far as the hardest, I don't necessarily have a hardest thing. I think the thing that always makes it hard is if maybe we've disappointed someone, or if maybe something hasn't gone right, or you're a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist. So it's like, we want things like a certain way. And, you know, we've worked long enough together to where I think we, you know, it's a good thing. We don't fight it, but that's always hard when maybe someone hasn't gotten what they've wanted, or they're maybe disappointed with something, but we always find a way to make it right. Yeah. Which I think is most important, and, you know, not to fester on it and just try to move on and make it better. And how does that make us better? Yeah.
You know, what's interesting when you say that is, and I can relate to it, is regardless of the size of the organization that you work for or in, or you lead, do you ever feel like, man, if I just had one or two more people, it would be easier? Because when I say that, we have a big team. Somewhat, there's 9 of us, and you're going to meet some of them today. But I see Julie literally packing packages and like writing, and I'm like, man, like we should have someone else doing that work. But truth be told is, right, when you're running a small business, which we are a small business, it's a can-do attitude. No job is too big or no job is too small. And sometimes I'm like, man, I got to restructure to help the organization grow so Julie can really be doing higher level type work, which she does, like including this podcast. But it's always like, man, we're 2 people short or 3 people short. But then you're like, man, I can't afford that right now. I can't do that right now, because if I brought in 2 or 3 more people, then how do you do that? Right? Can I get an amen, anyone out there? Because you might be like, man, Todd, you've got 9 people or 10 people just on Team TDE, let alone FQ10. But the point is this, it's always a lot harder than it looks. It's always a lot harder. Sometimes it looks easy from the outside, but inside you're trying to make sure that you can capitalize on all your initiatives, and that's why it comes back to, again, purpose. And I talked about this last week. What's your purpose? What's your mission? You got to stay centered on your purpose and your mission, your crusade of what you're after, and you can't get brought down in the quagmire of the 2% of the people that may not be happy with something. And that happens with us too. And I hate it, because as the youngest of 8 kids, I like harmony. I don't like when things aren't right. I hate it when there's dissension amongst the team or amongst someone, a customer's not happy. So I like when everything is kumbaya and going smooth. Right? That's just me. But Julie, any final words here? I wanted to introduce you first before the rest of the team as we get into 2022. You shared about what you're most excited about. You didn't share personally what you're most excited for.
Oh, wow. Personally, I think, I'm blessed. My dear husband had a stroke 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years just in a couple weeks. And he gets 1% better every day, and it's like, it makes my life and what I do that much easier. And it makes coming to work pleasure. It makes taking care of him a pleasure. And so that's huge. Spending time with my mom. She's 87, and I saw her for the first time this last fall, and I get to see her. Actually, she's here in the next couple of days. So I'm super excited about that.
Love it.
But yeah, and just living my best life, like being healthy, taking care of myself, so that I can be the best version of myself.
There you go. Yeah. There we go. We're kicking off with Julie Wilcox. There she is, the director of TDE. And if you need anything reach out to Julie. She can help you with everything because she is.
Please do.
She makes everyone smile and happy, whether it's a live event or a virtual event, or it's you're here at FQ10 or you need something from the store. Julie always makes everyone smile, including myself. So Julie, thank you for what you do.
Thanks, T.
Speaking of valued teammates, I now have two extremely valuable parts of my team in Frank Pucher and Larry Indiviglia with me today live. And man, gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Great to be here. Happy
Todd,
to be in the studio.
Always pleasure to be in TDE headquarters on a podcast.
Man, episodes, they were on 12, episode 107, and episode 126. So it's been a little while now, but welcome back. We're talking about Meet My Team here in 2022 and all the great initiatives. Quick backstory, Frank, your role here at Team TDE?
Yeah, I director of the Todd Durkin Mastermind, helping to oversee both the Institute and Platinum levels. Helping to put out content and organization to them. But also my primary day-to-day is lead coach for TD1, currently overseeing 24 fitness entrepreneurs. I was going to say around the country, but globally.
Yeah.
We've got people up in Canada and even as far as South Africa.
Yep. And if someone doesn't know what the Mastermind is, how would you describe it?
We are a support and accountability coaching program for fitness entrepreneurs. Everybody has goals, but it doesn't matter what the plan is. It matters what you actually execute on. So through a variety of tools, everything from monthly coaching calls to foundational tools to help them create action steps, we keep them accountable to the goals that they set in both their business and their life.
You started as a member first.
Absolutely. 2009, April 15th, 2009.
Wow.
I like to say I joined the Mastermind during the worst of times, but it was the best decision I made in my business. That position as a coachee eventually led to a coaching opportunity in 2012.
Yep.
And then 2019 kind of up-leveled again, took on a director's position and moved out to San Diego to work full-time with you. Here,
Well,
TDE.
As you may know, maybe not, but one thing I've always prided myself on is growing from within. Mm-hmm. And both at Fitness Quest 10 and TDE, I've often grown from within. So both Frank and Larry were part of the Mastermind first. They grew to where they became a coach of one of the platinum level teams, and then Frank, in this situation now, 2019, became the director of the Mastermind Coaching Program. And you talk about some fire-breathing dragons. We've got some of the most inspirational, soulful people on the planet who we talk about creating impact. These are some incredible men and women who are doing amazing things. Speaking of which, none other than Mr. Larry Indiviglia is in the house. Larry, welcome back.
Todd, always great to be here at TDE headquarters and on the Impact Show.
Your role within Team TDE.
TDE right now, primarily, I am a platinum level coach with Team Today, TD2. Okay, that's most of my work right now. Also in helping Frank out with some of his duties and some of his initiatives, some yours, of course, creating content like we've always done.
Yep.
I've been with the Mastermind.
What video? What
132.
132.
We have produced 132 videos since we created the TD Mastermind Institute in January 2011.
Yep. If someone doesn't know what the platinum, you guys both have said platinum level Mastermind. What is the platinum level?
Platinum level, there's 4 teams. Each team has up to 20 fit pros, business owners. And we basically have a program when we talk about accountability, we talk about taking action, we talk about our people, our planning, our programs, our profit. And it's done online, it's done through live retreats. And each coach has a solo call with each member. We have monthly calls, and it's a great accountability life and business coaching program.
Great. And Frank and Larry are 2 of our 4 platinum level coaches. Of course, TD3 led by the one and only Kelli Watson, who is the CEO with Greg Justice of Scripter Publishing Company. And of course, Jarod Cogswell, TD4 on that. So we have got 4 platinum level coaches. We've got the Institute, we got the platinum level, and we've got the P10. And one of the things I'm most fired up for in 2022 is the growth of our Mastermind coaching program. But Frank, let's go back to you for a moment. What are you most excited for about in 2022 on all levels, not just TDE, but on all levels? What are you most excited for in 22?
I think, well, just to start off personally, just in a really good spot. I've got a great relationship that's still in its infancy, but growing. But that's,
you mean the significant other?
Significant other. The quality of your life is always determined by the strength of your relationship.
Amen to that.
Really, really blessed in that regard. Definitely looking forward to some travel. Just got back a couple of weeks ago for the holidays. I was back in New Jersey, but always feels good to get back in
The homeland.
back to San Diego. But definitely looking forward to some upcoming travel in 2022. I think that's something a lot of people, not just myself, were missing over the last 18 months.
True.
And I'm still an athlete at heart, so looking forward to for the rest of 22 getting out there, doing some competitions. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like, whether that's running or triathlon, but there'll definitely be something. I'm always going to be a competitor, and I think a couple of times a year it's always good to get out there and challenge yourself, not just for that day, but the discipline and the process and the pain management that comes along the way. I think it carries over into life really well.
Yep.
But I think professionally, the thing that really juices me up is I love helping fit pros make more money, get out of debt, and get on a path to create and build wealth. I've said this many times, but fit pros sacrifice so much for the benefit of others. They sacrifice sleep, they sacrifice family time, and let's be honest, they sacrifice financially. And while it's great to be altruistic, I think there's a way to give back without sacrificing from your own personal needs. And that's something that ultimately I think is what makes me passionate and fired up to be a mastermind coach.
Yeah. Well, you do a heck of a job at that. You're every time beyond the call of duty, you are coaching people online, offline, at our live events, everything. I mean, Frank, you epitomize a great coach, and I appreciate all you do for so many great people. You make us better. You make me better. Tremendously grateful going into 2022 that our initiatives and goals will be to serve even more fit pros and trainers and coaches who are looking to get to the next level in all areas of their business and their life. Larry, how about yourself? What fires you up about 22?
2022, I've been with the Mastermind. This is the 15th year of operation, Todd. I was one of the originals back on October 15th, 2007. And what fires me up, what I'm excited about, is to have the opportunity in 2022 to continue to serve fit pros who serve others in such a big way, especially with all the dynamic changes going on in the world, in the country, and just in the industry. It gives us the opportunity to really serve people who really need us on a deeper and probably more frequent level than we ever have.
Yep. So, Larry, as a coach, and you're often here at the HQ coaching your people. I hear you on Zooms. I hear you on phone calls. You're 7 days a week. You're on for your team and for the Mastermind as a whole. And one thing I've always talked about, I got this from Wayne Dyer, is I always do better work when you're in the room when I'm speaking. And you probably, if you've been around me, you guys, for any length of time at a live event, you've probably seen Larry in the room. And this is one of the most amazing human beings you will ever meet. Mastermind or not, it doesn't matter. Just a great man who I've known since 1997? 97, right?
That's when we met.
Let me ask you, I'll start with you first. What do you love most about your job? And what do you love least about your job?
What I like least about my job, I'm going to say least first, is not having the ability to sometimes have a person or a coachee get that clarity that I may have for them. But it's not about me having the clarity. It's about them having the clarity. So then I step back and say, is my coaching technique, did I impart enough motivation, inspiration, asking the right questions? Like, maybe where did I not quite get it with them? Okay, because I'm like, I want it more for them than they want it, or maybe the light's not on yet. Sometimes that's what I get sometimes frustrated about. The most.
Hold on, before we move on to the most, because I resonate with that. Guys, if you heard that, any great coach faces the same thing. When I say coach, could be a leader of an organization. Yeah. You could be a Gus Cheliotis, who was just on our Mastermind a few episodes ago, who's leading a $1 billion company, and you see things in your employees sometimes you don't see in yourselves. At Fitness Quest 10, in 22 years now, we just celebrated our 22nd anniversary. Sometimes you see more in an employee or teammate or even a client or member than they see in themselves. That's really good, Larry. And I think that's what makes you special is, as a coach, we've got to impart that belief in our people that you've got the ability. You can do this, and it's the confidence, it's the swag that you need, because sometimes someone's beaten and they need someone to believe in. They need a cheerleader. They need a support system. They need some know-how, but they need a coach that is going to say, hey, you can do this. We got this. So that's good.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that because when you asked that question, I just wrote it down and we're all on the same page here. I wrote, sometimes I feel like I want success for them more than they want it for themselves. But the question is why? And I think a lot of people have a fear of failure. As coaches, we don't have that same fear of failure for them. We know they can do it. It's our job to inspire them, to coach them, to push them. So we're void of that fear. And that's what we have to remember is that's why we come back to that. Yep. It's like if we can help people overcome that fear of failure, we're able to do our jobs more effectively.
Love it. Let's go back to what you love most about your job.
What I love most, Todd, is being able to impact the 4 phases of the people and the coaches and the fit pros we work for. Specifically, we have people 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it's just a real honor to see them get to where they want to go. Maybe they're in the learning phase, as Dave Ramsey would say, the editing phase, the mastering phase, and the harvesting phase. And if each respective one, they don't necessarily have to be age related, in that order, to be a part of that process and being able to learn, improve, grow, and change together with them. Okay? Because I feel I learn and I improve and I grow and I change just as they do, maybe in a different way. Yeah. But that's the best thing that I like about coaching is that it's a win-win.
Love it. How about Frank, for yourself?
I think what I enjoy most is I like making things simple for people. A lot of people, my initial phone call is like, I have no idea how I'm going to grow my business, or I have no idea how I'm going to do that thing. And I love breaking it down simply and just to keep it business focused. I use this expression a lot. Stop trying to think outside the box and learn to master what's inside the triangle. It comes down to people, which is leadership, program, which is the product or service that you sell, and then your processes or systems. And if you have great leadership, a great product, and great systems, you'll get to profitability. Your business will be fine. So again, stop trying to think outside the box, master what's inside the triangle. And when you just break it down that simply, all of a sudden that light bulb goes off for somebody. They're like, all right, now I can do this. Now let's start with people. How do I improve in that area? And then we go on to programs, et cetera.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. One of the things, folks, that we've done here and in this episode today, meeting my team for 2022 and what I'm most excited for, one of the things I'm most excited for is to go deeper with our mastermind and to have even more impact with them. And personally, I can't wait to get back to the live events. I just love live events. I know we are talking right now about our 2022 live events for Fit Pros again, and that fires me up. We're talking about what I'm most excited for, not only for the people I get to coach within the mastermind and the 4 coaches and our team here at TDE, but we take this program extremely, extremely personal. And that's what I love about working with you guys on an everyday basis. It's not like just at live events. Every literally day we're together doing something for the mastermind. And I just want to say thank you for your devotion, your commitment to helping these wonderful people out, because as 2022 is here, one of the things I talked about in last week's episode is it is going to be an iconic year. And how you do that is, how do you help other people create an iconic year, right? For our mastermind, right, yeah. How can we serve our members to help them make it an iconic year? Because each and every one of those members impacts influences 50, 100, 300, 3,000 people. Now you do the math on that, all of a sudden we're talking tens of thousands of people through our program can we impact. So any parting words before we continue to introduce our listeners today to our team here at TDE? Any final words, Larry?
Yeah, I just want to, it's interesting. I recently visited the Huntington Hardesty Museum up in Pasadena.
What is the Huntington what?
Huntington Hardesty Museum and Library.
Okay.
And it's on a 216 parcel of just nature. It's got historic things. It's got a little bit of everything up there. And on the wall, it had this quote: "What you touch changes. What changes touches you." What you touch changes. What changes touches you. And I think in wrap up on the mastermind for going into the new year, Todd, you got to think about this, especially in 15 years. What you touched changed. Myself personally, Frank, Kelli, Jarod, the list goes on. But how we changed came back to touch you. And I think if we think about that as people, in anything you do, it doesn't have to be a coaching program. Whatever you do to do something, it can be a what and it can be a who. That person and the inspiration or motivation or maybe the change they made will come back and touch you, maybe not directly, but indirectly for what they did and what they went on to do.
That's deep. That's Larry Indiviglia. That's Frank. Go for it, Frank.
That's a tough act to follow. So, I'll just say this, Todd. I scribbled this down after you used the word iconic. You created something special 15 years ago. I don't think you ever imagined that the Mastermind would become what it is today. I don't know if you ever imagined that there would be 3 levels, over 150 people globally. A tribe that's collected some of the best coaches, entrepreneurs, inventors in the fitness space. The number of award winners and nominees to the highest awards in the industry all come through this program. You look at some of the top conferences in the fitness space, from the keynoters down to the presenters and the workshop exhibitors, they run through the Mastermind. Our DNA is littered at the very top of the fitness industry. And this is an iconic year, 15-year anniversary for this program. So, as complimentary as you are to me, Larry, the other coaches, it starts at the top. And, you should be very proud of something that you've created here and something that's going to continue to grow, inspire, and create impact in the years ahead.
Yeah. Frank, thank you. Thank you for that. As everyone knows, it's the who, not the how, right? And we've got some amazing people in that. The one thing I don't like about it in anything in business is staying the same. I hate staying the same. And we talk about 15 years. The one thing that the Mastermind has done is evolved. We started with 12 people back in 2007. It now has over 150 people and will be growing here in 2022. I welcome, by the way, any Fit Pros listening in. Contact me, get part of the family if you want to. But the bottom line is this: I don't like staying the same. I don't care in what aspect of business or occupation you are in. I think it's not good. Like, hey, I've been doing the same thing for 25 years. It's time to evolve. It's time to progress. And that's one thing I prided myself here. And in 2022, the end of 2021, we had that strategic meeting. And last week we had the strategic meeting about what are we doing that's iconic in the Mastermind in 2022. That fires me up. And that's why I wanted to introduce you guys to our listeners today about Meet My Team for 2022. Frank and Larry are 2 key members and parts of our team, and I hope that you have the opportunity to work with them in 2022 as well. Fellas, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Todd. Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Buckle up your bootstraps, my friends. When I talk about Team TDE, we are global. We are all across the country. Matter of fact, we're going over to New York right now, and I've got my great friend Kelli Watson in the house. Miss Watson, what's happening?
Hey, Todd, how are you today?
Man, I am doing great. It's great to see you. Great to have you on the show. Folks, you hear me talk about great coaching all the time, and I mean this. There are no better coaches when it comes to transforming your business or your life than Kelli Watson. I mean, she is someone who pulls stuff out of you like no one I've ever met. And I'm talking, I've met a lot of people. Kelli Watson is one of the finest, if not best coach I've ever met. And I mean that, Kelli. You know, I've said it 1,000 times. I say it publicly. I say it privately. You have a gift to coach. And I just want to say thank you. And it's great to have you on our team as well.
Thank you. It's always nice to hear that, of course. But, you know, I always think we're called to do something in life. And I was called to be a coach. So I wouldn't know how to not be one. And I'm just always grateful that I can do it.
Kelli, quick backstory on your many roles within the team, TDE. You do a lot of things for us, but can you give folks a quick background about how you spend your time?
Yes, I basically spend my time in one of four buckets if I count my family, but for work-wise, 3 buckets. And really the thread through all of them is that I'm a coach. I coach for you in the Todd Durkin Mastermind. I've been doing that since 2013. Have an extraordinary group of fitness professionals from all over the country and get to work with them in lots of different ways, building their business and helping them with what they're doing. So
TD3 has so much heart and soul and love. I just love TD3. Gosh.
Yeah, me too. We call ourselves TD3 Team Elevate, and there's a lot of good reasons for that. But those people are out there elevating thousands and thousands of people all over this country every day, and they pour their heart and soul into what they do. And it's just an honor to be part of that team and also to be able to coach them.
Yeah, you do an amazing job. No doubt about it.
I also work with Scripter Publishing Group, which is a company that I formed with Greg Justice, somebody that I met through the Mastermind program, through you, and with your coaching and mentorship, you helped us to develop Scripter Publishing Group. Originally an intention to have people in the fitness industry, health and wellness industries write their books, but now 5 years, going on 6 years in January, believe it or not, 6 years in, we have published books from people all over the world in all different genres, all different types. And the last book that we will have published for 2021 is the God-Sized Dreams Planner. So, you know, it's a pleasure to work on this with you as well. And I'm very excited to have that in my hand.
Well, hey, thank you for that. Folks, I've mentioned a couple times already, but toward the tail end of 2021 and here in the beginning of 2022, if you got the God-Sized Dreams Planner, know that Kelli Watson was a huge part of making that happen. So Kelli, I say thank you for that. Again, it's something that has had a lot of impact already.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of impact, the third bucket that I work in is coaching for you. And it's been the Impact Coaching Program for the past few years. But this year, you and I and the team actually were able to get together and do some planning and some strategizing for 2022. And we have a brand new program coming out called the God-Sized Dreams Coaching Program. And Todd, honestly, I am so excited about this program this year in particular. So that's coming out at the early part of the year.
Yeah. And talk more about that. Julie had just talked about GSD. I talked about it. Obviously, for us internally, we're really excited about it. From your perspective, you're going to be a huge part of this. What most excites you about the GSD coaching program as we go into 2022 here?
What most excites me is the ability that we're going to have to be able to reach out into the world and shine our light in some of those dark places. You know, I was thinking today, we're actually recording this. It's December 21st. It's literally here in the Northern Hemisphere, the darkest day of the year. And I was thinking about that as I was getting ready for the call today. And I was thinking, you know, this has been a trying year, a dark year for a lot of people. It's been a lot of loss. There's been a lot of fear. There's a lot of burnout, overwhelm right now as we're coming into the holidays, in the year of the pandemic and all the things that have happened this year. And I always think that it's always darkest right before the dawn. And so what I'm excited about is that as we're heading into this darkness and feeling that right now, tomorrow is the beginning of the dawn. And as we head into 2022, it's all about opportunity. It's all about what's out there, not just small goals, which are great, but God-sized dream goals where this is the time where if you want to reach for that next thing, that thing that's scared you before, or that you for whatever reason think you can't achieve, this is the year. And Todd, I think this God-sized dream coaching program is going to be able to help people get to that.
Kelli, what do you love about coaching? Like what's your favorite part of coaching when we did the Impact Coaching Program, and now that it's 2022, with the Gsd Coaching Program, what's your favorite part of actual coaching?
My favorite part is when I ask a question to get somebody to think something that they haven't thought before, and to come to a realization that they never had before. And it, in an instant, can change everything. And when you can do that for somebody and open that door or open that unlock something, and it allows them to become more, to see more, to do more, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I think one of the things that you do best is when you're one-on-one with people, and I've heard you coaching one-on-one and pulling things out of people, and it's almost like a deep exercise in self-exploration, and you can almost hear the spirit come out of somebody when they get that aha moment. And sometimes people think that coaching is imparting your wisdom on someone, and Kelli, you have a lot of wisdom, but I think part of your wisdom is also being such a great attentive listener, and then asking the right questions that help people discover whatever is inside of them that they're supposed to be doing based on their passion, based on their purpose. And, when you talk about the thing that I keep seeing here in 2022, it actually is all of 21. And now in 2022 is people are empty. People are lost. People are looking for a deeper purpose. People are saying there's got to be more to life than what exists now. And I think what the Gsd Coaching Program will do is it's going to help people really become the best versions of themselves. And there'll be faith represented. There will be fitness represented. There will be mindset represented. There will be soul set represented. And there will be certainly a lot of personal growth and professional development that happens within that coaching program as well. And we're talking for how do we transform someone's body, mind, and even soul, their spirit, to go deeper in faith in a short 90-day window period of time or less. Like, it comes down to the day. And I know the team, because that's what we're talking about today, is team. The team, since literally last late summer, early fall, has been meeting on this about what we can do to really impact thousands of people. And it starts with one. So I'm excited to work with you, Kelli, here in 2022, so that one by one, whether it's one person in the program, 10 people in the program, 20 or 30 people in the program, whatever it is, if someone wants to get to the next level, I know that between yourself, me, and the team, that we're going to be able to create a lot of impact with this program. So I just want to say thank you for all you do, for the Mastermind program, for the new God-Sized Dream Coaching Program, which is launching literally in just a matter of a few weeks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the best.
Todd, right back at you. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do, for being a visionary. But also, one thing that I always appreciate in you is that you really believe in your team. You believe in me, Julie, Todd, you name it, Frank, Larry, the whole team. You believe in us. And I think there's something so powerful about having somebody believe in you that allows you to go a little bit further. So thank you. Thanks for leading all of us on to the next.
Well, absolutely. 2022 is here, and we are going to create a great year. And we're just a matter of, practically days away for the Gsd Coaching Program. So Kelli, I'll be seeing a lot of you inside that coaching program, inside the Mastermind. And it is my pleasure to work with you here on the team. Thank you, Kelli. All right, next teammate that I really want to introduce you to is my good friend, Jess Jacobson. She's over in Chicago, Chi-Town. Jess, welcome to the podcast today.
Welcome. It's cold here in Chicago. My hands are cold. I have a heated blanket on. I'm just soaking up the warm energy from San Diego.
What is cold to you?
Cold. Like 20 degrees, 30 degrees.
Listen, when I was in Montana, it was -9 degrees the end of December. So, man, that's nothing. You're in a heat spell. Hey, Jess, real quick.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Hey, real quick. We've been working together for a while now, and we just met as a team about our 2022 initiatives and goals. And I'm really fired up to have you, someone who's helped me tremendously, not just with social media and digital media, but strategy. And you've got a great mind to help our entire team, not just myself, as far as thinking outside the box and also how to execute on a regular basis. But man, I just wanted to have you on today to talk about what fires you up about 2022 and what you're doing with the team. So I'll turn it over to you, Jess.
Well, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I wish I was there with you guys in person.
Yep.
But of course, there's so much I'm excited about with 2022. And my number one thing that I'm always excited about going into every year is helping you achieve your goals that you have for the business through using strategy. So for me, like what that looks like this year is just implementing new campaigns that are more streamlined, more focused, getting better and better at dialing in our messaging and our positioning, and rinsing and repeating different launch strategies to help more people and get the message out there in a bigger way while also growing the business.
Yeah. I think the thing I share with you as well as the team, anyone listening into the podcast is a great way to reach people all over the world. And I'm always asking myself, well, if my mission, it was to impact 10 million people in my lifetime. As I shared last week, it's now to impact 10 million people this year. It's okay, how do I reach more people? So it's always the conversation with you and the team of, besides social media and email campaigns, and it's how do I create the most epic, iconic program or programs that become word of mouth and become viral because of whether it be the Gsd planner or a new book or a new coaching program, whatever it may be. It's how do we reach more people, because ultimately comes down to what I shared last week, which is all about your mission, your purpose, your crusade that we're on. So you're a big part of that, Jess, and I appreciate you keep me in line, because I like to go 1,000 miles a minute. I don't like the organization that you love, as I've shared so eloquently with my wife, Melanie, is I don't like the organization part. I like just firing away with going on live or going on stories and making things happen. You're like, Todd, we need a little deeper campaign and strategy to make sure we can reach, the 10 million people in 2022 that you want to. So I thank you, Jess, for keeping me in line.
I love it. And I think like one thing for our listeners and for anyone out there is Todd's content on his podcast and on his social media is so amazing. And we always want to change a life with every post. But as amazing as all of that is, the programs, the mastermind and the programs that are coming up are even more life transforming. So for me, I love growing the reach, but I also love seeing people actually come into being a follower or an audience member and going inside of your programs and seeing their transformation, because it's really, really something special when you get inside.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm always thinking about is, how do I reach more people? How do I reach more people? And that's something that the team TDE is always asking themselves of, how do we, number one, create great content between yourself and Brandon on our team. You guys do an amazing job helping fulfill that mission to reach more people and impact more people. Because not just reaching, it's literally impacting and transforming bodies, minds, and souls. And you're a key part to that as well. Jess, what do you love most about working with the team at TDE?
What I love most about working with the team at TDE is just being able to see the evolution of where you are at the beginning of every year and where we are at the end of every year, and then going into what the new vision is, refining the vision. I am all about the long game. So I love, over the last almost 4 years that we've been together for 4 years in July, which is so fun.
Jeez.
Like watching your audience go from 23,000 to now 43,000, watching like just things evolve, watching the podcast come together and like become better, become stronger, go more deep. I really love watching the evolution of things, because business is a long game at the end of the day. So as much as I love all the little things that I just shared in the strategy, the campaign, I love the evolution of everything that we're creating.
How about, what do you love least about working with the team?
Well, you're busy and I love that. I'm similar. I also don't personally love organization. I'm a business owner too. So I'm also an ideas person. And I think the challenge for every business owner is refining your ideas and focusing on one thing at a time. And I think with everything that we're creating with TDE, there's so much excitement, there's so much going on, and there's so many opportunities. And the biggest challenge, I wouldn't say it's my least favorite. I don't have a least favorite, but I would say the biggest challenge that I face is keeping us focused on one campaign at a time, one thing at a time, so that the audience doesn't get confused and so that we can have a full-on campaign with whatever it is that we're creating.
I love it. Can anyone relate? So Jess is organized as if she loves one campaign. I'm like, no, Jess. We have 5 things we need to change the world with. We got the God-Sized Dreams Planner. We got the coaching program coming up. We got the Mastermind. We can change the world. She's like, Todd, we're going to confuse them. Like, no, they're not. We got smart people listening in. They can figure it out. So you're getting a behind the scenes glimpse of all this. And it's the conversations that we have that are legit. Like, this is real stuff. She's like, well, I believe that we've got to have specific, one campaign at a time. I'm like, no, we are going to have multiple campaigns because they're the different people. And this is what's great about the team, is to be able to converse about this with the people that you're hearing from on today's episode. It's the power of the team. I shared earlier on about, teamwork makes the dream work. But when you think about your dream and that you think about your team, is how do you up-level your team? How do you think about your team? And when you listen to what they have to say, not that you always agree with your team or they agree with you, what's important is you come to a consensus of how do you ultimately fulfill the mission and vision of your company, whatever that may be. So, Jess, any parting words for our great listeners today?
Definitely make sure you're following Todd on Instagram and that you have the notifications turned on for posts. We have some really amazing things coming. I think some really next level things coming next year. So always excited to get more people messaging. Oh, and please message Todd what you love about the podcast. If there's an episode you love, message him. Like, we help him collect that. And that way he can make more of this kind of content for you. So
yeah, no doubt. Well, Jess, thank you for being you. I so appreciate you. 4 years. Goodness, it's flown by. And I'm so excited for 2022 and all that we are creating to ultimately help our listeners today become better versions of themselves. So, Jess Jacobson, thank you. Folks, we did it. I got my man, Brandon Burns, from behind the camera to come onto the show. So whether you're watching this or listening to it, Brandon, welcome to the Impact Show that you help create every single episode.
Well, thanks for having me here, man.
This is great.
Got me out from behind the camera.
I'm like, Brandon, I can't have a feature of the team and not have you on it. Because for the last several months, if you guys have noticed an uptick in the quality of the show and how it looks and how it sounds, it's because of Brandon Burns. And I asked him to come on. He's like, TD, I don't know if you want that. I'm like, no. They need to hear your voice on this. So Brandon, thank you for everything that you're doing for Team TDE.
Well, it's my pleasure. And I've been excited to do this because there's not many times where I get to record someone who is on the same page as me when it comes to the values. You're passionate about God, putting those positive vibes and energy. And even when just being around the team that you have, it's just uplifting. So it's a special place and you don't find this that many places. So I'm just blessed to be here and be a part of this team and just help uplifting.
Well, you're a blessing to us. Trust me, man, we have a great thing going. And so everyone knows this, Brandon, because most people don't know this, is you are a star football player, running back at San Diego State University. And I'm curious how you went from a star athlete into now what you do as an incredible creator. What was that transition that you allowed? How did that happen? Or have you always been a creative?
Hey, man, that's a long story.
We'll say that we may have to feature you. Hey, if you want to have Brandon feature, we may have to have that feature on Brandon Burns. But
just the short of it, I'm a very creative person. I love stories. I love to inspire. I love to create. And so just hearing stories and putting them together and sharing those is something that I really love to do. So that's the creativity part.
What are you most excited about in creating stories for 2022 with the team?
Well, one thing that I love, it's like a blessing and a curse. You have so much great content, and I'm like, man, we can make like 5 videos from each episode to inspire people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about just helping get what you say out to more ears, to more eyes, to inspire more people, and just package it in a way that people can hear and understand it and grasp it, and just go along with you on this journey as we impact the world.
I got to tell you, it's not easy to find guys like Brandon Bournes. It's not, because what he just said is I've been searching that. I had that with Zach, our first content creator, and he was awesome. And Zach actually recommended you when Zach took another role. And Brandon, you get it. You get it. And I'm always like, well, how do I get more of what we're doing? Because we're always creating content. But I don't know if anyone can relate. I'm always like, we don't put enough content out. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you put a lot of content. I'm like, we have so much more content that we could put out. We probably should put out. And I'm looking to proliferate that in 2022 on that. And I'm grateful the fact that you get it and you see it, and you actually, offer me suggestions on ways that we could be better and what we could put out there. Because, hey, I got a long way to go in learning it. I love the actual creating of the content, and you do such a great job in making it look good and all that your talents are. So anything else to share when it comes to 2022 and what fires you up with what we're doing?
Well, I'm excited. So you gave me a gift, and it was the Gsd planner. And so my wife and I, we're putting that into our plan to figure out how we can use the content that you created, that you spent time and effort on, and just how we can implement that into our own lives and help us grow for 2022.
That's awesome. And Brandon, so you didn't miss that, folks. He said that his wife and he are doing that because when you do your God-Sized Dreams planner and you share it with your significant other, your spouse, your husband or your wife, it actually helps be on the same page with communication. So it may be something that even if you did that, you share that with your spouse. And again, shout out to Kelli Watson, a teammate who you just heard from. Kelli was a huge impetus in helping me get that done. She owns Scripter Publishing, and she was really pushing me and holding me accountable to that. She's part of our team. So just like each and every one of you, our team is always looking to grow, and Brandon's always looking to grow as well. Brandon, any final words for our fire-breathing dragon friends today that always get to see and hear what you create?
Well, I just want to say one thing you said earlier, just reiterate, teamwork makes the dream work. And so just having this team is, I think all of us should be inspired by what we can do together in 2022 with the right people in place, and just creating together and just to reach and impact the world.
Folks, you see why I love the guy? Man, oh man. Brandon Bournes, thank you for being part of our team. Folks, what you hear and if you watch the show, Brandon Bournes is the man behind it, and he works with our team. And Julie talked about she loves the podcast, but Brandon and Julie and Jess and Amelianne and we all work on this thing wholeheartedly. So I appreciate you for what you do, my man.
Yes, sir. Let's keep it moving.
Friends, I would be remiss if I did a program on team and did include Amelianne Johannes. Amelianne has been with me for 11 years now. She started at the front desk at Fitness Quest 10 when she was just 19 years old. And let me tell you what, you talk about growing up through the ranks. This theme has come up several times today about growing from within. And she was a key element of our success at Fitness Quest 10. Then as the TDE side of things started to grow, she started helping me on the Todd Durkin Enterprises side of things. And now she is with the TDE wing full-time per se. Amelianne, welcome to the show. You're always behind the scenes, and I had to pull you from away from all that you do to say, come on, Amelianne, share with our friends today all that you do. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. You definitely did pull me out of my comfort zone with this.
So share with everyone what you do as far as the X's and O's for Todd Durkin Enterprises. There's a lot of things I know, but what share a few of the ones.
I think the word that encompasses most is probably project specialist. So really anything back-end project based. So whether that's our CRM software management, helping with your new text line community and really engaging with everybody on there, presentations, product development. I mean, we started the Fitness Business Success System back in 2012, and we've had 7 different product launches since they're almost one a year. So just a lot on the daily, and just everything tech wise is really my niche that I like to go into.
Yeah, when she says tech wise, she is behind the scenes of pretty much anything that I do. Web pages, landing pages, launches, Infusionsoft, often referred to as Confusionsoft. She has learned, and by the way, you're like, well, how did you find her? Amelia Ann is pretty much self-taught. She went to the university called YouTube University, and I give her a project. I have no idea how it's going to get done, and she goes and figures it out. And Amelia Ann, I'm grateful for you for all that you do on so many levels, because again, most recently, just a few weeks ago, we had the God-Sized Dreams Planner that you and Julie were packing up yourselves and like getting out. We had 500 people order that, 500 now that it's already January. And it was just whatever has to happen, you get it done. And you and Julie are like a 1-2 tandem. And I appreciate that. So many things, including like when I do my live events and I have presentations, Amelia Ann's the one who helps me create and craft up my vision. I sit down with her, we go through all the presentations and what's the feeling and emotions I want to portray to the audience. And then she'll help me put together my deck to make sure that it fits the vision of what we want to do. So it's really all things behind the scenes. Amelia Ann figures it out. And one of those people you never get to hear from or see. And I wanted to make sure you today on the podcast know that she has a huge role in the podcast also. She's the one who uploads it and makes sure it actually hits the airwaves, and she provides the analytics to me, and just all the things that no one really ever thinks about. That's Amelia Johannes, and I just want to say thank you, Amelia Ann.
Thank you. I mean, I've enjoyed working with you. If there's one thing I've definitely learned from all my years is that never say no mindset of, something needs to get done. We have to figure it out. All right, I'm not going to say no, or I can't do it. It's going to be, all right, I'm going to find a way, whether that is, 3 hours on YouTube or random chat boards to figure it out. If there's a will, there's a way, and you just have to get it done.
Amen to that. Is probably the thing you'd like least about it too, because man, right? If y'all know what I'm talking about, when you've got a mission or a crusade, we've been talking about this mission and crusade since the last episode of when you got to get something done, you got to find a way to get it done. And I have a lot of Navy SEAL friends, and if you had an opportunity to listen to the Jim Rome show that I was on, I talked about the standard is the standard. What's your standard? What is your standard? And the standard is whatever your standard that you set for you and your team that you work with. It doesn't matter the role on your team, but the standard is the standard. And if you create a world-class standard, then your team and you have to stand by that standard at whatever the cost is, whatever the expense is. There's been times in the past where I actually lost money on certain things because it's like the standard is the standard, and we got to figure out a way to, we might have to bite expenses on shipping or getting something overnight or whatever. But when you got a standard, you figure it out, and ultimately it's the customer, the listener who you want to please. So Amelia Ann is a key component to making all of that happen as well. Amelia, what most excites you for 2022 within our team?
I really just think we have such a strong team right now, and just the way that we're growing, especially with the God-Sized Dream program coming out, just how we've really met so many amazing people to help move our mission forward really excites me. And just initiatives to really connect with our community more, and be more involved and really deliver value to them is something I'm really looking forward to.
And speaking of that, one of the things, many of you are involved in our community. It's our text platform that we use. Amelia Ann's the one who, when in the middle of the pandemic, the text platform I was using, they went out of business. So Amelia Ann said, hey, Todd, our existing company is no longer going to be in existence. We need to find another one. She did all the research. She came up to me with 5 different companies and suggested community. Many of you are part of our text platform community. And that is really me who texts back and forth. But Amelia Ann is always watching that, always keeping her eye out on that, and helps me execute the ability to connect with our community through that platform, which is also called community, by the way, as well. So I'm really excited personally about that as well, because what I realize in a community is the ability to connect and engage with people and to listen to what people want, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a coaching program, whether it be a product or program that we can serve people with. And Amelianne is also the one who is figuring out the best, most efficient way to get something done. So, Amelianne, what else would you like to share with our friends today that no one else knows about you, but it's important they know? Anything else?
Oh my gosh, that's important they know that nobody else knows about me. That is a tall order.
Or about you, about the team, or about TDE.
I mean, there's so much I could say. I mean, we have such a special team, like we all work well together, which has done so well during the pandemic because we haven't been able to be together as much. And yet I feel like we've never lost a beat. If anything, it's made us closer. And that's what I think is really important about our team is we just don't work together. We do life together. And we connect and we really value each other's time. And where we are emotionally, spiritually, mentally, like that's something that I think you have set the bar for, the standard for. And so all of us carry that into our lives, especially with one another throughout the week.
Well, Amelianne, Julie had just shared earlier on the show about her excitement for live events returning. I must say, you are really good behind the scenes and making things come to life. And I'm so grateful that you have that ability to read my mind many times, right? Folks, it's been 11 years. It is. And I love it. But, live events are coming back. We have some of these live events planned for 2022 here at the HQ, also some of our keynotes. But I believe, and this is just me speaking to you, is I believe you do some of your best work at a live event. You have an ownership mentality that I've seen, especially in the last few years, right before the pandemic, of like you owning moments and you anticipating things that I'll need or a speaker will need or that the team needs or that the attendees will need. And I believe as we get back into doing more live events, Julie talked about her excitement. I'm excited for that personally, as well as for our team, because I have seen you at dozens of our own live events between mentorships and mastermind retreats and everything else. And as good as you are behind the scenes, I also believe that you thrive in live events. And I just want to acknowledge that because it's rarely talked about or said, but when you're doing a live event, there's a lot of moving parts. And Amelianne, you do great, not only behind the scenes, but also in front of stage as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I love our live events, especially our mastermind. Those events, all of our live events are special. But I mean, if you get a chance to be at a mastermind live event, that is like no other. Just to be in a seat in the room and connecting with like-minded people, and just you will leave it 10 times better than when you showed up. You will. And you will make lifelong friends, and you will go away with different business ideas. And you will just grow exponentially. Like that event is my favorite, just to be able to connect with everybody so much during that weekend.
Yeah. Well, 2022, we will be having more live events and we will be doing exactly as you just said. Amelianne, thank you for what you do. I think we may have to have our own show just with you, Amelianne. We may have to an episode of just focusing on you. What do you think?
Oh gosh, you might have to prep me a bit more for that. I like behind the scenes a little bit too much.
Folks, if you want to know all the juice behind the scenes of all the things that Amelianne does and that today's episode was all about the team. And Amelianne's a huge cog in the wheel with the team. And again, you've heard from, we'll hear 9 people today on the team. And Amelianne, you are such an important part of this team. And I just want to say thank you for all you do. Whether you're working here, whether you're working out of your house, it doesn't even matter. You get things done. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate being a part of the team and letting me grow with you for the last 11 years. And if anybody wants the good stories, I have them.
Oh,
I have them all.
Well, that's a wrap on today's show. See, we're going to need another show just to hear those juicy stories, all of the outtakes and things like that. But seriously, Amelianne, thank you. And I'm looking forward to 2022 here of creating an iconic year. I know the team is pumped up. You're a huge part of that. And I'm excited for 2022 and all it's going to do.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Wow, oh wow. When you talk about the power of your team and the power of your dream, teamwork definitely helps the dream work. And you just heard from 7 of my teammates, and I am so blessed to be able to work with those folks. And one thing that I love is I don't love a bunch of yes men and a bunch of yes women. I want people who are going to really challenge me to be the best that I can be as well. And more important than me, about how we can ultimately live that mission and that crusade out to impact 10 million people this year. So a couple things I'm going to end with today when we talk about my team. One thing about a team is, and I love about my team specifically, is you got to keep them jazzed up. You got to keep them fired up and on their toes, because I do not like staying the same. I don't personally like staying the same. I want to get better. I want my team to get better. I want us to be looking forward to what's coming in 2022 and beyond as well. And there's some new stuff that's been happening. If you've been following along the podcast for a while, you know that in late 2021, early 2022 here, we just started and launched our God-Sized Dreams Planner. Many of you probably got that. And even though that's not just an end of the year or beginning of the year thing, you can get that at any time, because it has your daily plan, your weekly plan, your monthly plan, your quarterly plan, and your annual plan. Man, we sold over 500 of those planners. And I share that because our team worked their tails off to do that. It wasn't just me and putting out a social media post. Our team was creating content to do that. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for you if you invested in one, because why? I think it's going to help you live your dream, your God-sized dream. So thank you. I thank my team, and I'd love to get your feedback on that. But this year alone, this quarter alone, we've got some really, really important things that my team just touched upon. You heard about the God-Sized Dreams Coaching Program coming up, and I cannot wait to really get going on that. Kelli Watson talked about that. Julie talked about that. Amelia Ann talked about that. It's something we've been working on for now almost 6 months as well. The second thing is, as you listen to this, I'm strongly considering the opportunity for an additional show to this podcast. Yeah, an additional show. I love this podcast, but here's what I'm always saying is, I'm always asking for your help to spread the gospel of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And while you sharing this show really helps, I'm enamored with, how do I reach 10 million or 100 million people this year? That fires me up. It gets me out of bed in the morning like, hey, if I could be speaking to 10 million people, not just a million people, but 10 million people this year. We can keep doing what we're doing, but I'm not content with doing what I'm doing. And I hope you're not content with just doing what you're doing as well. So I'm considering a Sirius XM nationwide radio show. Are you interested? Is that something? I'm curious. I haven't made the decision yet. My team and I are mulling over this decision. Like, should we do it? And I don't know why, but it really excites me. It excites me to know that we will be reaching even more people if we do something like that with SiriusXM. Now, you know that the Joe Rogan show is sponsored by Spotify. The guy's made $100 million. What I want to know is, how do we reach 100 million people? How do we reach 100 million people? And I believe things like a potential SiriusXM radio show, or whether it be Spotify or whether it be Netflix. But right now, I want to know, is that something that you would listen to? An additional show that's a radio show? I'm trying to figure out how to best serve you and the people who most need to be motivated and inspired. Now, is it a Q&A show? Is it a call-in show? I'm not sure, but I'm looking at starting this bad boy as early as potentially early or late January 2022, early February. Like, that's in a couple weeks, folks. That's like fast. Like we got to make some decisions now. So that's number 2. Third thing coming up, live events. I just got back from Arizona. I did a day of impact over there for a Fit Body Boot Camp for Ben Jones. Thank you, Fit Body Boot Camp. Thank you, Ben. Had an awesome time. But I'm really fired up for even more live events. We've got our retreats coming up for our Mastermind program. And Frank and Larry, we're talking a bit about the Mastermind program. We've got multiple live events coming up here in 2022. And Julie was talking about keynotes. Guys, if there's one thing that I'm most fired up for, it's getting back up on stage and connecting with, I don't know if it's 100, 500, 1,000, or 10,000 people of a packed arena, but I am fired up for live events coming up as well. Number 4, this quarter alone, this year, 2022, things that we talk about, what I'm most excited for. The darn Mastermind fires me up. 150 fire-breathing dragon coaches and trainers who are committed to go on a crusade to change their communities through health, fitness, and nutrition. We talk about passion and purpose. These people literally have been spitting fire for years and years. And some of them I've been working with for 14 plus years now as we approach our 15th anniversary in October 2022. Shout out people like Trina Gray and Vito LaFada and Lisa Berman, Larry Indiviglia and Julie Wilcox. Yes, Larry and Julie, who are now on my team, they were part of the first Mastermind program. Again, I've shared over the last 2 weeks, I like hiring people and growing them from within. And Julie and Larry started that way as well. So I'm really excited to continue to work with my mastermind of trainers, coaches, and fit pros who are committed to grow their businesses and grow their personal lives as well. Number 5, the Strike Force. You're like, Strike Force, what is that? I think I heard that. What is that? Yeah, I shared earlier on in late 2021. It was back actually in October when I shared that I'm actually going to be the GM of the San Diego Strike Force, kicking off here in March of 2022. Yeah, we are less than 2 months from kickoff, my friends, and I'm fired up. More football. We won a state championship in high school football, and as if one championship wasn't enough, I'm going after 2 championships in the same 365-day calendar. State championship in high school. Now let's go for an indoor football league championship, and it is starting up really soon, and I'm so fired up. Vivi Lynn, the president, CFO Brett Goda. Those were the only 2 people when I accepted the job that were actually on the team. There were no players signed. There was no coaches signed. I didn't even have a head coach when I got signed here in October. Well, less than 3 months later, my friends, I'm glad and proud to share I have now signed 32 players. We have a full coaching staff. We have a head coach in Dave Beezer. Coach Beezer and I, man, you talk about breathing fire. I'm like, I can't wait to get to the football field this afternoon to hopefully go sign another quarterback. I got 8 spots left on my roster. First game kicks off on March 21st. March 21st. That's actually a really special day. Yeah, March 2021, wink, wink, March 21st, up in the Bay Area, the Panthers. If you live anywhere near the Bay Area, come out and cheer for the San Diego Strike Force, not the Bay Area Panthers, because yours truly will be celebrating his birthday. I mean, a very special day as we kick booty for the kickoff of the Indoor Football League. And the first home game at a sold-out Pechanga Arena, the San Diego Sports Arena, 10,000 people, screaming fans, Strike Force, Strike Force, Strike Force. Yep. I'm a little fired up, if you can't tell, for a little extra football in the spring. So if the NFL and all the bowl games that you just watched wasn't enough, don't worry. Your San Diego Strike Force is coming at you. And one more thing I'm fired up for. It's actually coming up in just a few weeks. I got to share this with you all. I share my personal stuff as well as all my professional stuff. I'm really fired up that in less than 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Boston, Massachusetts. You might hear me. You might smell me. Why am I going to be in Boston? I'm actually officiating a wedding in less than 2 weeks. You're like, whose wedding, TD? Not just any wedding. Y'all remember Strong? You know, that show I did on NBC a few years back, and then it was on Netflix. Remember my first partner, Devin Cassidy? Well, we got ousted in just a few weeks, but my great friend Devin is getting married on January 22nd, and she and her fiance have asked me to officiate their wedding. So Pastor TD will be on a plane in late January officiating his second wedding. I've only officiated one wedding before, and this will be my second one, and I got to tell you, I'm really, really excited to head back to Boston for this one. It is going to be special. There might be some extra push-ups and squat jumps or breakdancing on the dance floor on the 22nd, but I'm really, really fired up. My friends, we are now in full-blown mode in 2022. If you didn't hear it already, go back on the 5 ways to create an iconic new year 2022. You heard from my teammates on why we are fired up. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you on why you are fired up for 2022. If you have not reached out yet, please do so. I want to make sure I know, how can I best serve you in 2022? Is there anything I can do for you this year to further motivate you, inspire you? I want to know. I talk about impact all the time. What can I do to help you create more impact in 22? I want to proliferate our reach. I want to make sure that you beautiful people get filled up with light, with love, with positivity and impact wherever you go, wherever you live, and wherever you are. But I want to know. And then lastly, I want you to know that this podcast is in full effect for 2022. I'm coming at you hot all year long. And in case you haven't done it yet, please do me a favor. You probably have already done it, but if you have not, please hop over to iTunes. Provide that 5-star rating that allows us to catapult to the top 10 when it comes to inspirational podcasts. If you haven't yet written a review, please go to iTunes and write that great review on the Todd Durkin Impact Show. It really helps us skyrocket back up into the top 10 in inspirational podcasts. And in case you haven't, after each and every episode that you love, please make sure you continue to share the podcast. Just get the link, copy it, text it, put it in your social media, do what you got to do, but please make sure you tag me so I can reciprocate the love back to you. Without further ado, my friends, go out there and crush today. Until next time, remember, you got to train hard. You got to eat right. You must live inspired. Go out there and make it an impactful day. Peace. God bless.